You know, in today's media world, it can sometimes be a bit of a challenge to find wholesome children's programming that you don't have to worry about as a parent or a grandparent. Well, joining us today from Nashville, Tennessee to chit-chat a bit about this are Katy and Ryan Chase. Katy stars as Mabel in his series A Wonderful Day with Mabel Maclay, and her husband, Ryan, is the co-creator. But before we start the conversation, let's take a sneak peek of the show.
It's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day. Well, it's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day with Mabel Maclay.
I'm coming, Jasper. I'm coming. Hiya, Jasper.
Oh, hi, Mabel.
My, oh my. You've got a lot of stuff going on in here.
Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff here. I got everything I need.
I got your question mark. What's going on?
Oh, well, the reason I drew question marks on account of I'm stuck like that.
Oh, stuck.
Yeah, I'm stuck.
What, did you chew up a bottle of glue again?
No, that was a sticky situation. But no, it's nothing like that. You see, what I mean is I'm having a hard time being creative, see?
Oh.
I'm all out of ideas. I can't seem to make no more. Oh, I'm just not creative after all.
You not creative? Show us what you're making.
I am trying to make a time machine. A time machine!
A time machine?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right here.
Oh my, where'd you get an idea like that?
Well, see, kind of how it came about was like this. I was missing you so much that I figured if I make a time machine, then I could speed up time and get you to come home soon.
Oh, I see. Jasper, that is so sweet and so creative.
Welcome to Bridge City News, Katy and Ryan. So tell us a bit about the series, A Wonderful Day with Mabel. Why did you really decide to create a show like this?
Well, hello. Thank you for having us. We're so excited to talk about this show. It's a children's program that really celebrates the idea that life is wonderful and that it's worth wondering about. And it stars Mabel Maclay and her dog Jasper, who's very silly. And they spend a day kind of wondering about things together. And so we really wanted to create a show that felt the way shows used to kind of feel. And so it has that sort of nostalgic feel to it a little bit, we think. And we're so excited as more and more parents watch it, they can kind of sense that from it as well.
And we have 3 young kids, and so we were always trying to figure out, well, what can we put on? And at some point, I ran out of Andy Griffith episodes to show them, and so we thought it's time to make our own show if it's possible. And thank goodness it was.
And the fact that you have a dog in there, as a dog lover myself, I really appreciate that. So thank you. Now, are you hearing from parents voicing concerns about their kids being influenced by today's so-called woke culture programming?
Well, we are parents, and so all of our friends are parents, and that's sort of it is a topic that comes up, unfortunately, this feeling of kind of messaging coming in through really young children's content that doesn't feel quite appropriate for them, and then introduces concepts that we hadn't introduced as parents yet, and that feels really tricky to navigate. And so the idea behind the platform that our show is on, called Bentkey, is just that you don't have to pre-screen anything. So I think parents are really loving that, kind of taking that burden off of them of having to watch through and make sure, and do we really know this show? Taking that away is just a really lovely thing, I think, for all parents.
So how do you guys feel that the elements of your program really engage the audience? And are you looking for parents to maybe participate as well?
Yes, that was part of the goal, was not just to we wanted to make a beautiful show and a show that keeps the young viewers' attention. But as a parent, when kids put stuff on on the TV, most of the time it's like a buzzing. You're just like, turn it off. It's so loud. It's flashy. It's almost like a sugar high. And we wanted something that parents would enjoy having on as well. And so we were very purposeful and diligent about it's got to be a slower pace like shows used to be, and it has to be engaging, and trust that kids will learn some of the moral lessons, and we'll have fun along the way. And we don't have to chase their attention with flash this and that, and all the wonderful technology that there is today. Ours is very, very. We're very purposeful about everything is practical. The puppet is he's a real puppet, and all the special effects are everything that could be practical was, and very purposeful in the messaging.
It has a very sweet and simple show. We were feel to it for a show. We were really inspired by Mr. Rogers, which was one of our favorite shows growing up. And he had this trust, it seemed, that children could sit with content that was a bit gentler and a bit slower paced, and didn't overstimulate them. And so that's what we really set out to do.
Yes, I noticed that the show actually has a bit of a gentle and a calm feel and isn't overstimulating, like you're saying. So that was done on purpose?
Yes, it was. It was probably the thing that was most important to us in setting out to make a show, because as parents, we know what it's like when we turn on something for our children and it's so bright and so noisy and so quickly edited. And by the time it ends, our children seem all revved up and sort of frazzled. And so we wanted a show that did the opposite. We felt really strongly about that.
And how important is it as well, Ryan? Maybe I'll ask you this question, to have a message behind each and every program, or maybe a lesson that's learned?
Absolutely. You know, entertainment can be something that just gets kids through the moment, or hopefully it can be something that sits with them and they're entertained in the first interaction, and then later we hope with our show that they leave our show, turn it off, and go out into the world and wonder about the thing that they found through the story. And so we're very, very purposeful about putting a moral message in there, and modeling behavior, and modeling the problems that you would have as a young kid in a family environment or with friends. And so very, very, very important to not just have something that's entertaining, but that has a purpose behind it.
There's a real focus on social emotional skills in the show. And so we have 20 episodes in season 1, and each one takes on a different one of these skills. So we have a forgiveness episode and a curiosity episode. There's one on responsibility and creativity. So it was really important to us to thread those themes throughout each episode, so that a kid is, first of all, learning a really big new vocabulary word, and then also learning something that feels like an age-appropriate area of focus in their social emotional development.
Is there also an episode maybe focusing a bit on honoring thy mother and father?
Yes, we do have a respect episode, and we talk about honoring our mother and father and using respectful language in that way. And we talk about respecting members of the military in that way, and that type of respect that they've earned. And so we love that episode. It's a fun one.
You know, so many of today's kids shows move very quickly. So in comparison, is this kind of a program able to keep the attention of young kids? What are you hearing from the parents and the children?
Yes, we've walked the line of, we, as she said, we loved Mr. Rogers and growing up, and we've shown our kids all that, and probably today that is a great show. It's the standard bearer, but it's probably a little slow, and so ours isn't full Mr. Rogers pace, and it's slower than normal most shows, but it really walks the line of being fun and moving along, but it lets you sit in the moments, and it's not just chasing the kid's attention the whole time, which is we trust that a kid, if you give them like good food, they'll sit and enjoy it, and they're not rushing to get the next sugar high. And even though there's plenty of fun and sugar in this, but
it's interesting. Before the show came out, I was probably most nervous about the pacing, most nervous that modern kids could really handle what we set up and created, which is moments of breath in the show. I mean, the character Mabel, when she walks through her house, it's quite big, and she doesn't talk to the camera and keep saying crazy things. She just kind of takes a breath and walks silently. And we wondered, is this really going to work? And saying that their very young children are able to sit with this show and sit with this pacing.
So how did you get inspiration for a lot of the themes when it came to the programs that you're producing here? Is it from your own life experiences with your own kids?
Yes, a bit of that. We definitely get inspiration all the time at home with our 3 crazy children, of like, oh, going to a birthday party was tricky this weekend. Oh, that's an interesting topic. I bet a lot of parents are looking at that. We also came from our own point of view, which is a Christian household. So pulling some of those worldviews as well. And
we taught kids for 15 years and had a small business of teaching kids improv. And we've had a lot of inspiration from the years of doing that.
Yes, we taught improv comedy to children, which a lot of people think might involve just making them be hilarious. But we were really interested in teaching them life skills like teamwork and kindness and generosity. And so this show is a really natural extension of that work as well.
You know, I took some improv as well many years ago. It helps you to really think on your feet, especially during interviews as well. But let me ask you something. How can parents really encourage and nurture their children's own creativity?
I think the number one tip is to trust that they can tolerate being bored, because that can be tricky for parents sometimes when we feel like we need to cure that frustration that comes up when they say they have nothing to do. And often creativity always sits right on the other side of that frustration. So if we can just get them through tolerating that feeling. And then also, I always encourage parents to throw their children outside because the outdoors and boredom seem to be where all of our best ideas come, in my experience. And so at the end of each one of our episodes, actually, Mabel and Jasper go outside. They say goodbye by going outdoors to go wonder about things while they're fishing on the lake. And I just adore that, because it really is our best advice for nurturing creativity in little ones.
You know, it's interesting as well. Yeah, when I was a kid, you'd hop on my bike, go to my buddy's house, we'd listen to records, or maybe ride our bikes to the arcade. But you're always going outside, right? Getting physically active, taking in the fresh air, interacting with other human beings. Because it seems like today's kids, a lot of kids, especially preteens, it's all about the Xbox and PlayStation 4. And so there's not really that human interaction, is there?
Absolutely. Yeah, there was I grew up the same way. You get on your bike, you go, and there's kind of a radius about as far as you could go, and you come home when the sun goes down. It's time for dinner. And even when technology was creeping in, when you got your an arcade or whatnot, there was still tactileness to it. You had to put the quarter in. You had to earn a quarter to have to put in. And so we're kind of missing those these days, where a screen is always available and it's you're very insulated, and you're not interacting in the real world with real people.
I think this was our way of embracing that these screens do exist. This technology does exist. Now, what are we going to do about it? And what are we going to do about it with really young children? Our show is most well suited for preschoolers and young elementary students, and there's a responsibility there to do good things with this technology, I believe.
You know, with any TV series, when it comes to television programming and content, there are some challenges. What are some of the challenges you guys ran into?
Sure. Well, yes, there are always so many tricky things that come up. I remember one day the power went out from a windstorm. And so our whole 50-person crew, it's an enormous production on our show, sat in the dark all day, which is such wasted time and money. And then when it finally came on, we had to power through and shoot everything we were supposed to shoot that day. So there are always things like that. And we found ourselves really having to walk the walk in terms of maintaining all of these values that we believe in that we're teaching on camera. We did have to, under really challenging circumstances, really be who we say we are in those moments.
But then the blessing ends up being the lights are off, and the crew, we were so blessed by this crew, a very older seasoned crew. They had known each other from different things over the years in Bible studies, and we found folks gathering. They pulled a guitar out and started playing some worship songs, and I was getting to know them on a level I hadn't got to know them, and it was lovely to be by candlelight in this big studio. Just those kind of stories over and over in our experience.
Katy and Ryan Chase are the creators of the series A Wonderful Day with Mabel Maclay. Thanks so much for joining us today from Nashville, Tennessee.
Thanks
for having us.
On behalf of all of us here at Bridge City News, I'm Hal Roberts. God bless and thanks for watching.